how's it going, Rhea? This is Graham.
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Doing great. My first question for you, where does Io Shirai, going into Wednesday's match in NXT, ranks among your most anticipated opponents to date, considering you two have yet to go one-on-one in NXT?
Oh, man, I'm totally ready for Io Shirai. I don't know if she's ready for me. I don't think she was ready for me to come back. But I'm ready. We've already gone toe-to-toe before at the second ever Mae Young Classic. And I'm keen to see exactly what plans out for this one, what happens.
And it seems like you and Shirai have kind of a bit in common when it comes to respective transitions from how you started out as, bubbly baby faces to then hardcore heels soon after. How easy or difficult was it for you to kind of find what worked for you?
So starting out, I was like listening to too many people. Everyone told me to smile, be more bubbly, all of that. So that's what I was doing, but it wasn't working for me. The person that you see in the ring now these days, that's me. That's how I was in Australia. This is 110% me. I'm more confident in myself, so this is exactly how I portray myself. And I feel like Io's done the same thing. Before she listened to everyone, and now she's like, nah, screw it. I'm going to do me. And that's what she's doing. And I feel like we're very, very similar in that aspect.
And you've cited Triple H and Beth Phoenix in the past as some of your influences, as well as how To Be Loved by Papa Roach is one of your favorite Raw theme songs because of how it kind of jump-started your genre for that type of music. How is that different from other people in the locker room who are either older or just started watching WWE at an earlier age?
Oh, man. I don't really know. I feel like everyone's got their own story, everyone's got their own favorites, and that sort of builds character within themselves and makes them the person that they are today. Where I love Beth Phoenix because I had a strong build like her, and I'm not skinny. I don't have like the perfect body that everyone thinks is perfect. I'm a big girl, and that's why I love Beth Phoenix. I love the way that she was. I love that she was confident in her own skin. And with Triple H, he was just a full badass. He didn't care. He just knuckled down and beat people up, and that's what I loved. So it's funny when I say that I grew up watching these people, because everyone's just like, damn, you grew up watching these people, like you're so young, this is ridiculous. But hey, that's just the new generation these days. Like, I'm going to be saying the same thing when people start later on, and I'm older, so yeah.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge so far on your wrestling journey?
My biggest challenge would probably be, the whole thing's a challenge, to be completely honest, but the biggest challenge would be moving to a completely different country without my family, without my friends, and pretty much just starting again. Like, it's very, very difficult for me. I'm a huge family person, so like not being able to see my mum, my dad, my sister every day, it's very difficult, and I do miss them a lot. If I had them here, it would have helped me out a lot more, but I've had to struggle and learn and adapt and grow up, and that was probably the biggest struggle for me, to be honest.
And you mentioned earlier your match with Io from the Mae Young Classic a few years back in the second one. How was your experience competing in the first two Mae Young Classics, and would you like to see the tournament make a return at some point down the road?
Dude, I would love to see it return. I was hoping that they were planning for a Mae Young Classic 3, because it's a great platform for people to show what they have. That's pretty much where I built my brand, built myself. The first Mae Young, obviously, I was very young. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was just there to please people and try and do my best, show people exactly what I can do. Where with the second one, I was sporting a whole new attitude, whole new gear, whole new look, and I was more confident and comfortable in my own skin. And that definitely did help build Rhea Ripley. Everything that happened there, even though Tegan getting injured wasn't part of my plan, and it was a horrible thing to have happen, if that didn't happen, I don't think I would be where I am today. And it's scary to think how opportunities can be made and opportunities can be taken away.
And it was soon after that, like you mentioned the injury to Tegan, how you kind of ran with that on social media, citing you as the reason why she was hurt and stuff like that. It was soon after that they became the top heel over in NXT UK, won the NXT UK Women's Championship. How do you feel that change from being the top heel over in NXT UK for so long to then becoming the top babyface for the women in NXT just kind of came organically, seeing as how you didn't really have to change much about yourself at all?
It was strange for me. I mean, like, at the same time, it was cool because like you said, I didn't have to change anything about myself.
Yeah.
It made it easier that I was coming into NXT against Shayna Baszler because she was a dominant heel and everyone knew that she was a heel. Her, Marina, and Jasmine, they were the top heels in NXT. So anyone that you put against them is obviously going to get cheered. And with badass baby faces, they sort of have to be organic. And I feel like me being myself, the crowd sort of see that. It was crazy how it worked. I myself wasn't expecting that much of a pop when I came out the first time. I don't think anyone was really expecting it, but it happened, and man, it's boosted my career to the next level, and I've just been nonstop from then on there.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy moment. I just remember watching with my girlfriend, and we had to go rewind it a couple of times because she was enamored by the reaction. We still go back and watch it sometimes just because that really, jump-started where you are now. But kind of on that same note, how important were those early matches with Toni Storm over in NXT UK, over the NXT UK Women's Championship? How important were those in finding your footing as a performer?
They were very important because, like, coming from Australia, we don't really have massive crowds, at least when I was there. Like, it's growing now, but when I was there, you were lucky, very lucky. It had to be a big show to get possibly 500 people. So to be going from that to the Mae Young Classic to NXT UK, where there's like so many people in the audience and they're so loud and rowdy, like the UK audience is something else, and I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I swear you guys go outside and practice your chants because it's just absolutely insane. Yeah. Like, it nearly popped me at one point when I was against Dakota and everyone's like, Dakota Kai, Dakota Kai, I was like, what is going on? Like, this is ridiculous. But, like, I loved it. And being able to be over there and face Toni Storm, someone that I've known for, like, since we were 16 years old, it was a great way to learn how to be in front of a big crowd and just learn everything in general, like promo-wise, wrestling-wise, just confident-wise in general, to then go to NXT and be in front of the Full Sail crowd, to then go to, like, the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania if there was a crowd. Yeah. Like, to then go to those stages, it was a great, like, I don't want to say warm-up because NXT UK is, like, absolutely amazing, and I don't want to discredit it at all, but it was a great, like, learning curve for me.
And you were just at WrestleMania, you mentioned it right there, facing Charlotte Flair as the NXT Women's Champion at that point. There were a lot of conflicting reports coming out of WrestleMania regarding your status, even though you yourself confirmed that you were stateside at that point. Excuse me. Can you shed any light on the reasoning behind your month-long absence, or was that really just what the story called for at that point?
I think I just needed a rest, to be completely honest. Like, I had gone from, like, the busiest over 6 months that I have ever had in my life. Like, I was doing absolutely everything, and I think that it was critical for me to, if I were to lose to Charlotte, that I would stay quiet for a little bit. And also, it did help me with, like, it helped me, like, recover from everything that I've gone through, and my mental game as well. Sometimes you're just fried and you just need time off, and it was luckily, like, written out that way, but I also think I just needed it at the same time, which was great because I got to focus on myself and focus on getting better and training hard in my own little gym that I made here at my house and everything. So I even though I hate not being at work and not doing stuff, because I am, like, someone that needs to be doing stuff, otherwise I get very, very bored, I know that it was very essential for my body.
And you just came back in NXT just recently, and I think the gym's reopened where you are just recently as well, right? So it kind of works out perfectly.
Yeah, no, it's great. They just opened yesterday, and I am extremely happy. Like, I ended up buying some weights, and I bought a garage downstairs, and I have it all set up in there. I don't want to open the garage because all the leaves blow in. So it's just like working out in a sauna. And there's only so much you can do with free weights. Like, I just want to sit down on a machine and do a leg curl, do a leg extension, do a pull down. Like, I just want to sit down and do weights. I'm lazy. Like, I'm half lazy, half athletic.
You mentioned how busy you've been for the last 5-6 months, from, Survivor Series weekend, which was a whirlwind, WrestleMania just recently. Have there been any things that you've been able to catch up on, in the month they've had off up until recently, watching horror movies that you didn't get to watch, like The Invisible Man, I know came out recently. That was a good movie. Anything you've been able to catch up on recently?
I'm a huge Supernatural fan. I absolutely love Supernatural. I've already watched it all a couple times, and my partner Kevin, he had never watched it, so I was like, you know what, we're going to sit down, we're going to watch Supernatural. And we're pretty much done.
There's a lot of seasons of that show too, right?
Oh, there's a lot. There is a lot. We've just started the last season, season 14, and man, I still love it. It's still great. I love like monsters and all that sort of stuff, so yeah, I love it.
What were your thoughts on Becky Lynch's pregnancy just recently, and how it kind of creates opportunity for the Raw Women's division, and as well as up-and-coming stars such as yourself?
I'm excited to see what happens with the women's division. I am so incredibly happy for Becky and Seth. Like, it's so hard to start a family when you're a professional wrestler, because if you're a female, you have to have that time off, and you want to spend time with your kid, and it's very, very hard when you are a wrestler. So I'm super ecstatic for them, and I know that she's going to be a badass mom, and he's going to be a badass dad, and it's going to be great. But with Becky's absence, there is a spot open, and I am very excited to see what's going to happen for the women's division. Whether I take that opportunity, I don't know. Whether Shayna takes that opportunity, I don't know. Whether Nia Jax, anyone. I'm just excited to see what happens.
And final few questions for you. What was that first WrestleMania experience like for you? And how cool is it to be able to say that you stole the show at just 23 years old with Charlotte Flair?
It was super cool. It was weird, of course, because there was no fans in attendance.
Sure.
But it's still WrestleMania, and to be able to be on WrestleMania at 23 years old is insane. And if I could go back and tell younger me that this would be a thing, I wouldn't believe myself at all. It was great. Like, even though the outcome wasn't what I wanted, man, like you said, we stole the show, and that's incredible. I'm very proud of that match, and I do love that match. It's something that I'm never going to forget, and it's definitely something ticked off my bucket list.
Would you consider that your career highlight so far, or the mosh pit where you won the NXT Women's Championship, or what would that be?
I still love the mosh pit after I won the NXT Women's Championship. That was just something else. It felt like so special, and I love mosh pits. Like, everyone knows how much I love mosh pits, so to have everyone in the crowd enjoying that moment with me, that was like, Shayna was the longest running NXT Women's Champ. Like, that was a big, big moment for me. Like, I love WrestleMania, but that was like something that hit my heart in a whole different way.
Was that your idea, or was that someone else's idea?
No, that wasn't my idea at all. I think Triple H was behind it, but I don't really know too much. Like, I just remember people starting to come in the ring, and I think someone else like invited them in. I wasn't sure, but I was like, this is cool. I knew that there was going to be like some, but I didn't expect that many. I was like, this ring's going to break. There's so many people in here.
Yeah. It was pretty insane. Final question for you. Aside from Io Shirai, who else are you looking forward to facing at some point? I know obviously you have history with Mercedes Martinez, Tegan Knox. That's a story that you guys weren't able to kind of finish up because you were, the babyface when she came back. So that's a story. Dakota Kai, unfinished business there. Any other opponents you're looking forward to facing in NXT?
Oh man, there is so many. Tegan Knox for sure. Like, I love wrestling Tegan, and I would love to wrestle her again after everything that went down. But a big one that I want to wrestle is definitely Dakota and Raquel.
Raquel, you're very close with Raquel,
my
right?
former tag partner. I would love to face her in the ring and do something with them. I think it would be so much fun.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to the match with Io on Wednesday. Rhea, very much I appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.